Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Joshua Santos, and I am honored and very privileged to bring you one of my mentors, someone I look up to. Her name is Sieg, and if you have not heard of Sieg, let me just run you by her track record, what she's done before, and how is it that she reached success in this industry, direct selling and network marketing industry. Now, she's one of the authors of the widely read books online when it comes to acquiring customers and having prospects come to you, and she's considered the attraction marketing queen by so many people and leaders in this industry. She's been able to influence tens of thousands of people in this industry. She's been able to help from CEOs to new entrepreneurs out here just looking for a way to create their success online. And last but not least, she's reached #1 international producer in her primary company in 6 short months. And Sieg, how are you?
I'm doing awesome. As I mentioned when we connected, I just came from my workout. That's part of my kind of my mental fitness is staying fit physically, and it does a lot for me. So
Absolutely.
I come from the sports world, so it's part of my essence. Is I got to be working out.
Absolutely. So. Totally believe in that. I do so as long as I can squeeze time around the afternoon or evening. I can do that. Love swimming, so that's totally something that I enjoy doing as well. So, Anne, I just wanted to kind of reiterate and have you share your story. What is it that really pushed you to get into this industry? How you stumbled upon it, and where you came from, and all that good stuff. So,
yeah. Well, it goes back quite a ways. To go through the whole history would take some time, but basically I was exposed to, well, let me think. Actually, it started when I was about 7 or 8. I was going to say exposed to direct sales. My early 20s, it was actually, I should have grabbed it. There's one up on my shelf here. I should have grabbed it. What happened when I was a little girl is I was taught how to make knitted Christmas bells. I was making my little Christmas bells. My grandma taught me, and my mom said, you should go around the neighborhood and sell your Christmas bells. She taught me about how to take change and this and that. And back in those days, things were a little bit safer. She didn't even go with me. I was a little girl. As I recall, I was 7.
Oh,
and
wow.
I told my mom about it recently, and she says, yep, that sounds about right. So it was about 2nd grade. Out with my Christmas bells and, knocked on doors, and I sold all my Christmas bells my first time out.
Congratulations.
I remember that cardboard box, and I rattled it, and there were coins and dollars, and it was like, how about that? I my own hands, and all I asked was, would you like to buy? And they bought. So maybe that was the first trigger. But formally, I got in my young 20s. I was exposed to Mary Kay Cosmetics.
I've heard of that.
I did Mary Kay, was the very first. I was actually, I was exposed to Mary Kay, but then I started formally as I think they call it a consultant.
Yeah.
My second child, when I was pregnant with my second child. From there, I just did a whole variety of direct sales. I did Avon.
Okay.
Hang the things on the doorknob.
Yes.
And I just really like sales. To me, sales is very pleasurable. Some people don't like it. Maybe it was that satisfaction I had when I was 7. That was like, there was no fear in it, really. I was just a naive little kid, and my mom said to go sell these Christmas bells. It was really fun. So I did that while raising my boys. I have 3 young men now. And but more so than a decade ago is really when I took it to more of a full-time focus, that being, okay, I want to make a 6-figure income here because I want to bring change into my family in a bigger way. Previous to that, it was just the commissions on my product sales, another $200, another $300, adding to the family income, basically. Okay. A decade ago, it was more, okay, now I really want to do something serious. My husband and I were running our own business at that time, a windshield replacement business, and I wanted to get him home. So that's kind of my story. That was my big why, and you do need a why. You do need to be highly motivated. I didn't mean to hit my mic. Because business is it takes some guts, and courage, and fortitude, and all that kind of fun stuff. So that was a decade ago, 2002. My eldest son, who was 18 at the time, sponsored me into a nutrition program, and I did quite well selling the products.
Nice. Okay.
Mine wasn't duplicating how I wanted it to.
Oh, okay.
The whole, fork in the road, which we all face as entrepreneurs about, okay, so what am I going to do here? How am I going to be resourceful? Because my company really didn't have any good answers. They just had the company speak of, go out and do it again. And they just didn't have intelligent responses. And I like to work with reason and rationale. Yes. And they just didn't have any. So I went online. This was 2004. And I researched for information. And that's become mainstay now. That's an automatic behavior that we have. It wasn't so back in 2004. No, that's natural. You want to check out what your doctor just prescribed, you're going to Google it. Everything's Googling it, right?
Exactly.
So that's our behavior now. But so I became someone's lead, meaning I requested some information. He followed up.
Okay.
Training. And that's really the impetus that got me going online was back in 2004. So that's in a nutshell.
That's exciting. You've done a lot of things, and you've had your fair share of experience since you were young. I know myself, I was exposed the first time I was 13, and I was in a mall, and back then they used to prospect people. I imagine they still do, but they used to prospect people in the mall and just say, "Hey, you look like a sharp guy." Just the very common prospecting lines. You look like a sharp guy. Are you interested in making any extra income? And I'm really young. I'm like, no, I'm still kind of young. And then after that, when I was about 16, I started looking a little deeper into it. You know what I mean? And then I got prospected again. And that's when I started. I'm like, okay, maybe this is something I should be doing because this guy has a nice Ferrari. So. Just being young and doing that, that's where I first started. When I was 18 is when I really got started and decided to make this something I wanted to do. So I had a question for you. What was your biggest challenge when it comes to starting your business online? You mentioned you went online and decided to look for your own information and for the answer you were looking for, pretty much. So what was your biggest challenge doing that and starting it online?
Biggest challenge? Biggest challenge? I guess what I feel it will be the biggest challenge is consistency. And that just really is it. There's a lot to learning it. Initially, it seems just like this vast slurry of information. And really what it comes down to, the essence of it is having a sales funnel. Set up a funnel, drive traffic through it, close down sales. That sounds so simple, but when you first come in, it's confusing. But I had the good fortune to have a good mentor, actually. And I was going through a very specific discipline at that time, which was learning consultative selling. And there was a very structured program. Okay. So I didn't really... Well, okay, I think I know what the first challenge might have been is just getting that first sale, okay? To where I went through a period of time, where you go through this faith-based kind of walk of, okay, I'm doing this, and man, oh man, oh man, I sure hope it plays out.
Yeah, that was my mentality.
and self-doubt can creep in, which it did,
yeah.
But I'm No, I got to be consistent because I never know when the breakthrough is going to come. Mm-hmm. So I remember kind of hitting a little bit of a wall. I was about 2-3 months out of, wait a minute, is this going to work? I mean, man alive, I've been working really hard. When's the payoff going to come?
Yeah.
And I can't let down the plow yet. I just can't. I can't because what if? What if I lay down the plow and I find out this thing works? So I think that was the biggest challenge, was being faced with the... I don't want to call it the temptation. It wasn't a temptation to quit. It's just the edges of self-doubt creeping in. Do I let up? Do I? And I pretty much, because my discipline is from the sports world, is you just can't let up.
Exactly.
So the sports world taught me really well in that regard because it's a whole skill building thing. So I'm going to give an analogy if this helps for folks, because my metaphors come from sports.
Yep.
I was in the gymnastics world, and I was a coach and a gymnast first. Well, when I first started, I was incredibly weak, inflexible, this, that. But I looked at the bigger picture, let's say a bar routine, which, okay, a sales funnel might be comparable, skill-wise. A bar routine is connecting a bunch of skills on the bar in a smooth, fluid manner, okay? So I had to break it down to even just one skill first, but I wasn't even strong enough. So my pull-ups and all my push-ups and all my leg lifts and everything, just to learn one skill that would be a part of bar routine.
Wow.
Just routine. So, but I understood the concept. I didn't think that I could get on the bars the first time and pull off a bar routine like Olga Corbett or Nadia Comaneci. I brought it down to a level that, well, first of all, you're too weak. First of all, you're too inflexible. And I had to build those up.
Yeah.
So I think those kind of understandings, then when you take it into the business world and learning online marketing is, well, I got to break this down into the little skill parts and build them sequentially and build them upon each other. So I think that understanding really helped me to be patient with the process, because I think that's what people can oftentimes lack is patience with the process. And the way that you develop the patience is to actually start to love the process.
Oh, man. Very powerful.
Hey, I only did 4 push-ups yesterday. I did 5 today. In sports here, it would be, oh, man, I finally, my traffic is at 50 visitors a day, or 2. We'll start small.
Yeah.
I'm at 5. Okay, now it's to 10. So it's all about, to me, tracking is a big part of my discipline, big sports world. So I actually like the process, and it energizes me because for me, it's like, okay, I'm very goal-centered, and I just like to grab things, ferociously and say, taking you down, I'm here, but I'm going to be there.
Exactly.
So you really kind of have to attack things in business. You can't, timidity doesn't fare very well in business.
Not at all.
No, not at all. It just, who wants to follow someone who's timid? So you got to lead yourself first. So my experience in the sports world really transferred well for me into business.
Okay. Yeah, oh man. That alone was a very, very good analogy, and I hope everyone really understands what Ann is saying. It's so key for us to take things step by step and not get anxious with what results we get first, if any results. There's so many times when I started where I did everything I thought I could do possible and nothing. I yielded no results. But the key with what Ann mentioned, and the key to it all is that people are watching. And people, if you stop and you just decide to quit, people will see that too, and you will have less customers and a less recommendation kind of a fan base or an audience for people who recommend you or even decide to see what you're doing. They're gonna think, oh yeah, he's gonna quit again. This is just one of his things. You know what I mean? You don't want that to happen. So that's very important. Thank you for sharing that, Ann. And a second question: what your biggest aha moment? And you mentioned a very powerful one when it comes to building your skills step by step, one by one. Have you had any other aha moments in your business, whether online or offline?
Oh man, they're constant. Because I'll see if something comes to mind. But business is a series of problem-solving exercises. When you accept the reality of that, is you have to be a master problem solver, because marketing in itself is always about testing, and this is my mindset about it, is I formulate a theory, a hypothesis of, okay, I'm going to package an offer this way, and I think it's going to work because of thus and thus. It's a scientific method. I mean, marketing is a combination of creativity with the scientific method, because you allow your mind to think and come up with new ways, new offers, this, that. It is a hugely creative space.
Very.
On the flip side, it's also a scientific space, because you formulate your idea or concept, but you always have to test it, because it is, your idea is just that. It's an idea until you put it to the court of opinion, like your offer. And if your offer bombs, well, the court of public opinion has said, and you go back to the drawing table. So I'm trying to think of a recent aha. A lot of times, I'll tell you one that goes way back.
Okay.
A lot of my problem solving occurs more so when I'm not specifically on task, like sitting at my computer doing my deal, okay?
Yeah.
And it often happens, and this is, I think, a brain wiring thing. I study brain science and this type of stuff, is it'll happen a lot of times when I'm working out. A lot of times when I'm working out, because I'm in a different state than when I am in my normal, I'm writing my email, this, that.
Mm-hmm.
That creativity things come. Okay, I'll just give you an example. I was on the bike machine a couple of days ago, and I was reading a book.
Okay.
So I can't ever just be working out. I gotta
start reading a book.
So there I am, and I was reading through this chapter, and then this quote jumped out at me. That led to me, I thought, I've got a whole blog series I'm going to create off of this. It just inspired is what happened through that. Another time, as an insight on that was, this is way back in 2006, and we had an offer. We were selling someone else's free CD, training CD, okay, generating leads. And I'm washing the dishes one day. Washing dishes, no, I actually like washing dishes. My husband does all the cooking. I come and clean the kitchen. And I like it because it's a very mundane, kind of dumb task that doesn't require any thinking. So I am washing the dishes, but I get so many ideas during those kind of off my work schedule time.
Yeah.
You know, I get the gym, going for a walk outside. But I remember the one time I'm doing the dishes, and I'm like, the thank you page. Man, the thank you page. We're going to put in a consultation request there. So I told my son, who's my business partner, hey, man, you know what we're going to do? We're going to put in a consultation request on the thank you page. And, you know, and this is way back. We didn't have, the marketing knowledge wasn't as out there as it was now.
Yeah.
You know, this is 7 years ago now. But it was just kind of this, wait a minute, that thank you page.
Yeah.
And then the consultation request came rolling in, and we called it a CR lead. I was generating 5 different types of leads off of that website back in 0506, and I was actually then farming them off to my downline. So the CR leads, consultation request, had almost 100% closing rates.
Nice.
You know, farmed them off to my best people. It would range from like 80 to 100%. I mean, extremely high. Because I captured them in this engaged state on my thank you page. They'd just taken a significant call to action. You know, they requested my CD, and, I'd like to offer you a free consultation. And they would just spill their guts in this consultation request. When my people followed up, there they were able to reference this really great info, this data. But that was simply just doing a mundane task. So I like my mundane task. I like folding laundry. So husband washes, I fold, because I don't do a lot of this, but I like it because it's a reprieve. I'm in a very intense thinking space for many hours per day with the marketing.
Yes.
You can't run at that pace for hours on end.
Very true.
Mundane tasks that to me are like, I love it. Yard work. I love doing yard work. I love it. I crave it. It's like, yeah, man. Oh, yeah.
Same here. Same here.
It just feels so good. And then that's when my brain processes at a completely different level than when I'm at task on my PC.
Very true. Very true. Even a week ago, I couldn't even shoot a 30-second video because my mind was just fried. I'm like, I'm doing all this marketing, and right now I just need to sit down, relax, maybe read a book, or just sit outside. Just sit outside and
Exactly.
man. Yeah. So it was pretty bad. I'm like, wow, this is how much technology can kind of suck out of you if you stay there for hours and hours on end. So
It really does. I just can't. I think this is not. We were not created to be doing this.
no, no, you weren't.
Next, I've had a lot of back problems, wrist problems. I'm doing pretty good now, but
Mm.
we weren't created to sit in a chair like this and do all this eyeball technology stuff. It's weird.
Yeah. Oh man, it definitely is. So, another question I had for you. What was your biggest breakthrough? And it sounds like we're kind of leading into that. But what was your biggest breakthrough in your business, whether it be early on, or even recently? Your biggest breakthrough, online or offline?
Oh boy, there's so many.
Yeah, I know.
I think the one that felt like because I have a team. It's not just me. It's a team.
Yes.
So my what I execute is done via a team. So it really, because initially it was just me. It started with just me, and then I started to build out a team.
Mm-hmm.
So one that gave us our kind of like our chutzpah, you get the strut, you got the goods, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
We did $1 million launch in April 2009.
Nice.
And I was like, dang, man. So it does something like throwing that quiver, that arrow in your quiver kind of a thing. Then we rolled out a webinar system. It's been almost 2 years now. It's hard to believe. And we got fantastic results almost straight out of the gate. That is because of the depth of experience with my team. And we've worked together as a unit for so many years that we can rock and roll pretty darn fast.
Mm-hmm.
So those are more like the collective whole. And that's kind of where I always have to focus in on is what I do as a unit with my team. Kind of like in the military, not that I've been in the military, but I would imagine like a platoon or whatever unit they have. They go out and they do something and it's, yeah, man, and you got the power because you did it as a group, that you did it in a, you do this,
Absolutely.
this, everyone, boom. And it's pretty sweet. It's a sweet feeling when there's this coordinated effort, and when you know each other so well, the information passes so fast. It's a really neat thing.
Yeah.
I suppose like at the Olympics when there's teams playing and they know each other really well. So you said breakthroughs. I guess those would be more like proud moments. Breakthrough offline. I can't think of so much offline.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Online is totally fine.
But maybe the offline are coming though, because I've got something that's kind of going in that direction.
Stay tuned.
A year from now, there's something in the works going on, so we'll see how that shapes out.
All right. For that, what would you and based off of your entire experience, your track record in this industry, and sort of what you've mentioned, you kind of had this this theme across. Just make sure you start small, and go from there. What would be your best advice? Maybe besides that, what would be your best advice for a new person just looking to get into this industry, looking to get success in this industry and start on the right path?
Well, that would have to do with what I have created that I feel embodies that.
Yes.
Because as goes back a couple years ago when we were putting together a training system and a marketing system, we did this pause and reflect kind of moment. This is primarily between me and my son, who's my business partner, is where are we at in our industry right now? Because it's vastly different than it was in '07. It's just a completely different industry. Is where are the gaps and where are the problems? Number one, a unique problem that we have with our particular space is the fact that we're trying to teach a particular skill set that we don't have the benefit of learning in the traditional sense of let's come together every day, sit in a classroom, eyeball to eyeball, and we're in this process as in a traditional school setting. We don't have that benefit. It ends up being dispersed somewhat piecemeal. because, we have to deliver it through GoToWebinar and through videos and the technology tools that we can use to get our information and our training out there into someone who wants to learn this space. So by default, we end up with that as a challenge, if you will. Okay, so there's that. A second challenge to our industry is there's a smattering of different trainings and it comes in from all different directions. A new person does not have any filter whatsoever to discern of the information that's thrown at them where it fits.
Exactly.
So we evaluated those two are very big. They're problematic, if you will, to getting to our space, because then you hear, "Oh, I'm in overwhelm."
Yes.
Right? You see the copy that comes out, how to deal with overwhelm.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and it's because people are being hit at. There's Joe Blow has his program, and oh my gosh, before you know it, they're buying everything off the shelf. True?
Yeah, very true.
This is a problem, especially for someone who is new, who doesn't have the proper filters to know when to access something, and also for the fact that they've got all this incredible marketing being thrown at them with urgency factor, and this course is only available from now. Holy cow, I better buy it. Right?
But wait, in the next 10 minutes, if you're... Oh, man.
Disappear. So there's a lot of things that compound and make this a challenge for someone who wants to learn this space. And it just is what it is. But as a leader, when we were evaluating this space, is how can we counteract all of that? Okay? It's a small task, right? This is what we did. We know that, in essence, what people need to do is set up what's called a sales funnel. I'm not going to break it all down, but you need a sales funnel.
Yep.
You have traffic that, you have eyeballs on your message. Mm-hmm. They opt in to your, whatever your offer is. They opt in and they get on your list.
Yep.
And make subsequent offers and you close them into sales. There is actually a very fundamental process here. There really is.
Yes.
So we did that, and then we set up a sequence training system on exactly that. And we know for a fact it is exactly that, because I've been in this space for about 10 years now. So we set that up. And people need to know, as information comes at them, where it fits in. So like buy a Facebook advertising product, let's say.
Yep.
Well, have a funnel. They don't know. I don't know. I just heard I'm supposed to have Facebook ads.
Yeah.
But they really don't get the big picture. But they responded to an ad that said Facebook advertising is where it's at, right?
Yeah.
What they lack is perspective.
The
big picture, and your brain will assimilate all these little bits of information so much better if you understand the big picture first. So when so you now start to have a filter. So the data comes at you and go, yeah, okay, well, I know it fits here. See, I have a good filter because I know the space. So I see a Pinterest training come out. I'm like, well, that's traffic generation. Yeah, that's going to round up my social media hub. I'm going to drive traffic here, blah, 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 blah. Most people wouldn't know this stuff.
Oh, man.
I need Pinterest and generate leads on, blah, blah, blah. But they don't know they need a funnel to collect the leads and all this.
Exactly.
So there's that. Here's the other challenge. The big one is, and what your original question was, what people need now? Is that what you asked?
What would you recommend a new entrepreneur in this industry do to get started, to get their feet wet the right way? So.
My recommendation is my program, and I don't know if you even know about that recommendation. Here's the other problem we overcome, which I said is the fact that we're not coming into a classroom together every day.
Yep.
I mean, and conversely, the benefit is I can help someone in Singapore and Malaysia and help people all over the world because we're doing it through the web, so that they don't have to fly here and live here and learn from me that way. So I'll just say this. this is really important. It's called PDCA. PDCA. It stands for plan. You got to do or execute. You got to check and adjust. The problem people have is not so much in the training. It's in the check and adjust phase, which is the feedback necessary to make tweaks and adjustments to their marketing.
Yes.
That's the fatal flaw. Because they're planning as best they know how. They implement. And why isn't it working? Because you're not getting feedback. Exactly. When I do my business, I routinely connect with my teammates 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times a day. My constant feedback loop is like this. Hey, I got an idea. We do up a Skype. And yeah, let's run with that. So I'm in this constant feedback loop with my own team. Most people are alone. And they don't know why what they're doing isn't working. Then they come to the conclusion, I knew it, this stuff doesn't work.
Oh, man.
That's fault. You just haven't gotten the feedback to make the necessary checks and adjustments.
Wow.
Problem. That is the fundamental problem. You're not getting a marketing review. Someone isn't looking at what you put together for an offer, your sales copy. That's what is missing. But they conclude, I'm an idiot, or my aunt told me this stuff doesn't work. I guess my aunt was right. Or my mom or my dad or whatever. In this check and adjust, we found that in sports, you have a coach who tells, no, pull your arm in faster, spin on the ball when you release it, blah, blah, blah. It's no different in this space. Wow. You have to have the mechanisms in place to shore up the constant feedback loop. That's a fact of the learning process. This is what's missing. This is what I have infused into my program. So we teach them the fundamentals. Here's what a sales funnel looks like. And then we put in place all the mechanisms we possibly can for the constant feedback loop. Because that's what's required in learning something. And I got to tell you, all the more in marketing, because marketing is all about testing.
Yes.
So if you're in a space of you think that you do something once and it's done, not so here. Not so here.
No, very true.
Just today I revised one of my PowerPoints. It's called a new member orientation PowerPoint. I got together with my teammate and we just cleaned that sucker up. Offer. So I got together with my buddy who I've been working with for my teammate for 2 years, and we got out our scissors, where I'm chopping out slides and rearranging, and you do that all the time. And I always have this saying, one cranium is not enough to get the job done. You cannot get the job done with just one little noggin.
Yeah, that's totally true. When you were calling, actually, I couldn't answer the first time when you called because I was actually on the phone with one of my downlines, and he was like, I congratulated him. I'm like, hey, congratulations, you have your sign up. He's on a roll. This is his second. This is his yesterday was his first day. I'm like congratulations. I'm like, you're really kicking butt. So he signed up with the name says him and his wife. So I'm like, hey, why don't you have your wife Barbara? I'm like, I'm sure she's been supporting you forever. I'm like, I wouldn't doubt for a second that she wouldn't support you even more and actually do this with you. I'm like, there's so much into and he's looking to do this online. So I'm like, there's so much into the online realm that has nothing to do with the offline world. I'm like, once you go in here, it's a totally different playground. So I recommend that you do this with your wife. And he's like, well, I'm going to see if I can convince her to do this because she gets fed up real fast. I'm like, you know what? I'm very step by step. I'm like, there's, just me offering him my support and all that stuff. But just like you said, it's very important to have two or at least more than one person doing this with you, because you will get burnt out and you have no one to turn to and ask, hey, can you help me to, so very important.
Yeah, you will burn out your brain will burn out.
Yes, definitely.
Bounce it off of somebody, and here's what I'm thinking, you need that kind of stuff.
Absolutely. So, last question, and but definitely not least, I want people to know where they can find your stuff, your blog, and any information that you have for them that would be a benefit for them. I know this interview alone is going to be worth hundreds. It's so much for these prospects or these new entrepreneurs looking at this interview in the future. So I want people to know where they can find your information.
Well, we do have the Renegade blog. It's just www.therenegadeblog.com. The training system that I'm talking about, we really don't have it out in front this month, thus far, I should say. Mm-hmm. We actually do it through a webinar system, but it's called the Daily Marketing Coach.
Okay.
That is what I recommend more than anything. I have my business primers, my manuals, which is the Attraction Marketers Manifesto. That's free. People can access that free. Attraction Marketers.
I read it.
Have it?
I read it back in 2008, I believe, years ago.
Okay, long time ago. So, okay. It's a free book. There's no reason why they should get it from you. You must have an affiliate link, so you should use your link. Okay?
Absolutely, yeah.
Get into DMC, Daily Marketing Coach, because you refer people to Attraction Marketers Manifesto. They will be referred automatically by me to DMC.
Nice.
So, but yeah, to read the free manual, because it really does help, because that's a method or a way of consuming the information so you can understand it through a book, a manual. It is a business manual. Mm-hmm. Renegade Marketer is a business manual as well.
Yes.
But Daily Marketing Coach is where the rubber meets the road, and it's called daily for a reason. You have to work on your business on a daily basis.
Yes.
And support people in that endeavor. You can't ever let up steam. You need respite, rest and recovery. Mm-hmm. This is kind of like a little baby.
Exactly. It's nonstop. You have to treat it good and make sure you're taking care of it and help it grow and see the fruit of your work later on. I mean, yes, you're definitely a living example of that. So I definitely congratulate you and commend you for that.
Yeah, I do work on it every day.
So,
I'm talking about Puerto Vallarta today, and I'm like, I think this sounds like a good idea.
Oh man, and that's how us marketers are. And there's always going to be that one moment you could be walking, you could be sitting down, and you just sit right back up like, hold on a second, I have to go. You have to just write something down because it could be the next $1 million idea. Yeah, so that's definitely powerful. And what you've shared so far, Anne, is I was in a moment when you were just talking and sharing what you have to say, what you had to say. I was in awe because I'm like, wow. I'm like, this information and this interview, when I put it up, and I'm definitely going to send you the audio right after this, and you're recording it as well. But it is worth so much, and the tips, just a very short, small tips that you've given and your analogies and your stories are going to resonate. And I know for a fact, because I was in a position where I was just brand new. I didn't know where to go. I needed something broken down for me to say, I'm like, okay, next time I decide to market or attack my marketing, I know what to do. I know that I need to do this, and I know that I need to focus on this one thing for now until I open the next door and the next. So that's very, very powerful, and thank you for breaking that down for us and these new entrepreneurs on the way.
They're coming our way. We got to help them out.
Absolutely. So again, the renegadeblog.com, I believe, right? And just go on there. You will not read everything and plug into everything that Anne Sieg has to say. She is an industry leader. She is definitely someone you need to follow. If you're not signed up to subscribe to her email list, please do. And make sure that you're plugging into everything that she's doing. Her and her team are phenomenal. So I can't recommend anybody else in this industry to start fresh with and start looking to grow your business the right way than Anne Sieg herself and her team.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We're very proud of what we do. We want to help a lot of people.
Absolutely. So, Anne, thank you so much for taking the time. I wanted to thank you for taking the time. Thank you for sharing all this value again, and making just sharing everything with us. So I thank you so much.
Welcome. My pleasure.
All right, so I'll see you. I'll definitely be plugging into that new product that you guys have coming up in the works. I'm excited about it. I want to know what it is. So I'll definitely be looking out for that. Thank you so much.
Very welcome. Have a good evening.
You too. Bye.
Bye. Bye.